the definition of trending? I'm not necessarily clear on
Trending happens. It talks about the volume of tweets in a particular geographical area that have to do with a particular hashtag or a particular search term. Okay, so and personally, it's an algorithmic setting that is set by Twitter, and at some point you reach a certain volume and it triggers this trending option. But it's based on the total number of tweets in an hour in a particular geographical area. If a certain percentage of those have to do with a particular hashtag, then it gets labeled as trending.
So it's not a description of something that's happening; it's an actual thing that can happen.
It's about it's a trending within the general conversation on Twitter. Okay, so one of the things that if you look at that hashtag from Monday night, there was really only about 6 or 8 of us that were tweeting from that event, and yet we were able to get the event hashtag to trend on Twitter for the Calgary area. So if you go to an event and you're interested in building your Twitter following, it doesn't take more than 5 or 6 of you actively working on Twitter at an event to get something to trend, potentially. So you want to participate in those kinds of conversations. It's a way of getting your profile out there, and hopefully attracting new followers. And remember, like I had some of my tweets were favorited by different people in that conversation. They were also favorited by the Faculty of Arts, which is nice because everybody who follows the Faculty of Arts now sees this note that my tweet was favorited. So that improves the possibility that they might want to follow me on Twitter. So it's all about that kind of strategy. The one other piece of advice that I'll give you with Twitter is, particularly if you're looking at Twitter on a cell phone, pictures are becoming a big deal on Twitter. So in the Twitter stream, a photograph that has a resolution of up to 360 by 360 will display. And if you look at my Twitter stream, I'm not sure if I can bring it up, but let me see if I can get in here. Oops. It's not going to let me in. It's not going to let me in. Let's try something else. Oops. Okay. So here's my Twitter stream, and you'll see, go to my tweets so that you can see, hopefully. You'll see the ones from me, and it won't, I'm not sure it's going to, oh yeah, here's a photograph. Right, that's not 360 by 360. It would have just happened to be the photograph that was available for the event. But I included it as part of the Twitter stream, and you can see how big a difference there is between this one as opposed to the one that does not include a photograph, right? So if you want to make your tweets really stand out, include a photograph. Yeah.
Michael, what do you prefer to using, the UFC hashtag or UCalgary hashtag?
Well, here's the thing. Jim Dinning, about in September, actually asked people to use the UCalgary hashtag, and basically said he told us as students not to think of us as the as the U of C, but to make sure that we're using the full name of the university. So I think that's why. You're right though, it makes a difference because the more consistent everybody is, the more likely that hashtag is going to trend
Well, the way I look at it is you get more space when you say U of C, but
True.
You're also competing with at least the University of Chicago.
Yeah.
And I know there's
Yeah.
at least one other university somewhere, I think either in the States or Europe, who uses the U of C.
Right, and it's often times confused with some of the University of California
Yeah, that's right.
groups. So we probably want to use the UCalgary one.
I'm not sure if it's an official thing or not, but isn't there like a hashtag kind of a registry? You can go a little with hashtags.
You can. There are several directories of hashtags. I would recommend that you just ignore them because they're really not. Many of them are not up to date. Some of them will. Basically go through Twitter and update themselves. So you don't need to actually go and register your hashtag. Yes.